Lesson 11 for June 6 to 12, The Bible and Prophecy, read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Friday, June 12. Study this chart below, and this is the same chart we had earlier in the lesson. We've got Daniel 7 on the left and Daniel 8 on the right. Daniel 7 has under it Babylon, the lion, and there's nothing under Daniel 8 because Daniel 8 occurs in the time of Medo-Persian rule. Then under Daniel 7 there's Medo-Persia the bear, Daniel 8, Medo-Persia the ram. Greece for the leopard, and Greece the he-goat in Daniel 8. Pagan Rome under 7 is the fourth beast in pagan Rome. The horn moves horizontally in Daniel 8. Papal Rome, the little horn in 7. Papal Rome, the horn moves vertically in Daniel 8. Daniel 7, judgment in heaven. Daniel 8, cleansing of the heavenly sanctuary. The crucial point to see here is that the judgment scene in Daniel 7, which occurs after 1,260 years of persecution, as predicted in Daniel 7:25, is the same thing as the cleansing of the sanctuary in Daniel 8:14. And this judgment scene in heaven is what leads ultimately to the establishment of God's eternal kingdom at the end of this fallen earth's sad history. Hence, we have powerful biblical evidence for the great importance that Scripture places on Daniel 8:14 and the event it signifies. And that brings us to our 3 discussion questions for this week. 1. Go back and review Daniel 2. See how clearly the historicist method is revealed here, an unbroken sequence of world empires, starting in antiquity and ending with the establishment of God's eternal kingdom. God gives us the key to interpreting these prophecies. What does it say, though, about the state of the Christian world that very few Christians today employ the historicist method anymore? Why does this fact help establish even more the pertinence of the Adventist message for the world at this time? 2. How well do you understand the 2,300-day prophecy of Daniel 8:14? If you don't understand it, why not take the time to learn it and share it with your class? You might be surprised at how solidly grounded our interpretation of that prophecy really is. And question 3, read Daniel 7, verses 18, 21, 22, 25 and 27. Notice the focus on what happens to the saints. Daniel 7, beginning at verse 18, For the saints of the Most High shall receive the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. In verse 21, I was watching, and the same horn was making war against the saints and prevailing against them. And verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came, and a judgment was made in favour of the saints of the Most High, and the time came for the saints to possess the kingdom. And verse 25, He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time, and times, and half a time. In verse 27, Then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Notice the focus on what happens to the saints. What does the little horn power do to them? In contrast, what does the Lord do for them? What is the good news for the saints in regard to the judgment? What does the judgment ultimately give to them? Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled Running for God, and it's by Marianne Kazmierczak. Running brought me to church in Poland. As a young man, I started bodybuilding because the doctor cautioned me to take measures to improve my health. Then I got into long-distance running. I loved it. I ran marathons, 62-mile, 100-kilometre races, and even a 24-hour run over 126 miles or 203 kilometres. I joined a group of runners who trained together several times a week. After a while, I noticed that Peter, a runner in our group, missed our training sessions every Saturday. I couldn't understand why, and I finally asked him. "I've been thinking about the meaning of life," Porter replied. "I've been reading the Bible, and I've been going to several churches to find one that follows the Bible. Now I've found such a church. Would you like to study the Bible with us?" The Bible studies, led by a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, confused me. I considered myself to be a devout Christian, and I belonged to another denomination. One day, while we were running, Porter shocked me with a question. "Did you know that your clergy aren't telling you the truth?" he said. "Now you've gone too far," I exclaimed. "You're mixed up." "The next time we meet, I'll bring a Bible," Porter said. "You bring your church's book of doctrines. We'll see where the truth lies." The proposal seemed good to me. I'd always tried to live a truthful life and to follow the truth that I knew. At our next meeting, Porter and I compared the two books. I was stunned to realize that my book didn't match the teachings of the Bible. Several months later, I was baptized. I was 45. It felt good to join a church whose members cared about their health. Soon I noticed that several church members didn't eat meat. I researched the plant-based diet and also quit eating meat. Before, I saw my body as my own and exploited it for my own desires. Now I understand that my body is not my own. I try not to damage it. It is God's temple. Today I am 71 and running remains a major part of my life, although I have stopped training and competing on Sabbath. Running is an ideal way to spread the gospel. After a marathon, everyone feels good about their accomplishments, and it is easy to talk about God. I share who gives me strength to run at my age. I run at least 3 times a week, 6 miles or 10 kilometres each time. It takes me about 55 minutes. I run in forests and in nature. I think about my life and think about God. I hum hymns and remember Bible verses. I pray for God to bring people into my path so I can talk about Him. He brings people to me. And there's a photo here. Thank you for your 13th Sabbath offering in 2017 that helped build a television studio for Hope Channel in Poland, broadcasting the gospel to the Polish-speaking world.
Hi there. Thanks for watching this video on the Advent-band Ministries YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to be alerted whenever we upload new videos. So, until we meet Him in the clouds, may God continue to bless you.
This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind and Hearing Impaired, Christian Record Services for the Blind, the Sabbath School Department, and Hope Channel. You can also listen on the official Sabbath School 4 app and the Apple iTunes app, Sabbath School with Percy Harrold. Remember, God is always faithful.